This woman writes, I know why I have been single my entire life. She's 22. So let's see if she has pinpointed it and kind of what's going on for her. I've been doing a lot of reflection lately about why I'm single and what I can do to change it. Awesome. It boils down to two opposing thoughts. Yeah, so she's thinking that she has some conflict. It's like, well, when we have conflict, it's like, what is that? Well, we're linking, okay, I want a relationship, but also I'm linking pain to being in a relationship. And so you have that conflict. And when that conflict's occurring, you don't take action. Let's see if that's kind of what she's talking about. She says she has an excess of self-hatred and an excess of self-love. Interesting extremes here. Let's see if we can get more details. On my good days, I think I'm the greatest of all time. I think of all my qualities I bring to the table. I'm patient and rational. I always work on improving myself. I care and I'm loyal. I don't avoid conflicts and like to resolve issues. Okay. Just kind of brings up the question, are you confrontational with the men that you date? Is that kind of keeping you out of being in a relationship? And I like to resolve issues. I'm in great shape. I have a cutesy face, and I'm smart, outgoing, and witty. I also have plenty of hobbies I enjoy and really making progress in a career I love. But then on my bad days, I point out to myself what a piece of shit I am, that my parents never loved me. So why should any man love me? Okay, well, it's like the two wolves analogy. It's the Buddhist philosophy. It's like we have two wolves in us. And the one that survives is the one, or the one that grows is the one we feed. And so you always have that choice. You can focus on what's bad and the negative things in your past and your environment and the negative things about yourself. But what's also available is all the good things. And sometimes it's like when we get in those patterns of, oh, basically everything's so rosy and good, it's like, well, sometimes we don't want to feel that way. And we want to feel sad or upset, and we just want to do that. And actually, sometimes it's effective to just almost like allow us and not resist some of those feelings, like being sad. Because it's like, well, when we can just, well, what we resist oftentimes persists. And so if we can, okay, just fully indulge in feeling sad, it's like, okay, why am I feeling sad now that I'm in this state? And just almost like let it flow and let it pass through you. And then just continue on and get up and try again, and then start focusing on the good again. But we do have the power of focus, and oftentimes we can direct our focus through the questions that we ask ourselves. So be very conscious of the questions you ask yourself, and also know that as people, most people have one or two primary questions that they ask themselves that directs their focus on a consistent basis. Some common ones you'll see are like, what's wrong with this, or what's wrong with me, or what's wrong with you? Or some people have like a helper kind of mindset, like, oh, how can I help? But it's just like, ask yourself that questions. Or like, you'll also see some people that are like really like learning oriented, like, what can I learn from this? But ask yourself, just take a second. It's like, okay, what could my primary question be if I knew what it was? If I could think of what my primary question would be, what is it? And when you think that, it's like, okay, it could be this, and then you start to identify a bunch of possibilities, and then oftentimes you'll pinpoint what it is your primary question is. And that really has a huge factor on shaping your life. And each one has its own benefits. Even if you're like, oh, that's bad, don't punish yourself or anything like that. Punishing yourself just destroys your energy, destroys your motivation. So you encounter people with like primary questions of like, what's wrong with this, or what's wrong with them, and the positives of that are like, well, you can actually find what's wrong, and therefore you can sweep in and like help this person. It's like, well, you find this person's problem and you're focused on this person's problem, then you can like help in a genuine way. So there are positives to that, but also there's negatives to like a question like that as well. Like, well, you're always focused on the negative, focused on the bad things, which are just draining and will really be disempowering as far as your emotional, consistent motions on a daily basis. So questions are important, and they really, really shape our focus and therefore our emotions that we experience on a daily basis. And that really determines our life, what we choose to feel. So she continues on. Parents never love me, so why should any man love me? That maybe my thighs do with one less inch. It's like, get out of this pattern. Yeah, she goes on that. Both of these factors contribute to the fear of going past the first or several dates with someone. Excessive self-love causes me to wonder, what if I can do better? I deserve better. So both of your things are leading to talking yourself out of being in a relationship. And so I would actually question if it's actually these things that are the cause, or is it that you have some belief that you're linking some kind of pain towards being in a relationship? And I would say that's more likely of the cause, because it's like, well, either way, it's like if you're in a positive state, you're looking for reasons to get out of this. And when you're in a negative state, you're looking for reasons to get out of the relationship and end it early. And so what's the common denominator, whether you're in an empowering or disempowering state, is that belief that relationships won't work. And so, sit down and look at your situation, try to identify where it is that you're linking pain to the relationship. Where did it come from? And how can you kind of ease that?